Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this design session. So today, what I'm going to really be doing is going to show you. So I'm going to be doing is showing you how to make this revolutionary website. So someone had reached out to me and said, "Oh, they liked the interaction they saw on this site. I think I saw it to myself, Revolut.com. So there's once you get on the landing page and you try to scroll down, there's just this really nice and seamless interaction that happens that transitions the background image into like this cards and everything. So I feel like it's really nice, and I also think it's what's it called, a really nice tutorial to talk about what's going on here and to try to replicate it as well, so we can understand a couple of concepts. So where do I even start from self? Okay, so basically I want to explain the concept of what's going on here. So typically for typical websites, you have like sections. You have for traditional websites, you have sections that are stacked vertically. So let's see this. You see this section here. You currently see it now. As I scroll down, you can see that I am entering a new section. It's stacked vertically or beneath the one that comes above it. So typically sections are just stacked like vertical. But then if you see what's happening here, this hero section, this so take this current page you're seeing as a section, and then take this second one as another section. So what's happening is that they're not stacked in a traditional sense, but then there's this scroll effect that's made to happen that moves this particular section into this other section. So uh, it's all masking. Let's say it's masking techniques. It's masking techniques that are used to achieve this transition between both of them. You can achieve it through other means. I don't really know, but then my own technique is actually like my own idea of achieving is actually using masking techniques to make it seem like the uh, this image actually transition into this other. Meanwhile, the other section is actually being the second this section here is saying is being hidden in plain sight. Like it's this box you're seeing here. This is section two, but then from my own perspective, it's been hidden in plain sight and made to the image. This lady's image is being made to match the one that's behind the background here. So that's the basic breakdown of what's going on with this in particular design here. So without much ado, let's get to actually implementing it so you can actually understand some of this concept I'm explaining even better, because explaining does not do justice um, to what's really going on. So let's get started on creating it. So I think let's before we do that, let's even see the one I made. So you can see how this one, okay, you can see how it transitions from this. This is the hero section I was able to come up with. I couldn't get that other lady's image because Revolut locked theirs, and also I think it's also good practice for you to actually like bring your own content into your design. So you can see this particular image here. This is, like I said, this particular section is actually the section two, but it's a card view. Sorry, it's a view of it that's made to match with the what's it called, with the image that's in the background, so that it seems like it's actually one image. Meanwhile, it's not one image. It's actually two sections that are layered on top of each other. But because of the way the images are well aligned, you can't tell that it's two different. You can't tell it's two different sections that you're looking at. So as I for my own, the challenge, the transition trigger is actually like you have to press the keyboard. So on Figma, I think that's one of the current limitations. You can't have scroll triggers. There's no scroll trigger because on Revolut sites, it's as you scroll that you see this effect happening. But then on Figma currently, except I'm wrong, you don't have scroll triggers. The only triggers you currently have are on tap, on click rather, on click, on drag while hovering, and all these ones. These are the triggers you currently have after delay and all the others. So ideally, I could actually like still think of a way to do it with to do achieve this particular effect with on scroll, but then it's not worth it really. It's really not worth it because at the end of the day, it's not going to be you who does. The idea of Figma is, at the end of the day, is actually just for you to be able to like how do I put it, to be able to like demo how it's a product, a live website is supposed to work. It's not the final product. So sometimes there are things that you may not really be able to achieve inside of Figma, but you can achieve them through other means. So for mine, it's actually that scroll effect. I can't make it happen on scroll. I can't make the interaction happen on scroll. However, what I did for mine was to add a button press to it. So once I press the button, although you can use on click for yours, it's totally fine. But then for mine, I just use keyboard so that when I'm demoing it for when I'm like doing a video for it, you won't really see the mouse cursor on screen. So it's just a keyboard It's just that's just why I chose to go with the keyboard. So you can see that as I press enter, you can't see as I press enter, but then I'm pressing enter to make the sections transition from and into each other. So that's just what's happening here currently. So you can see that I've been able to achieve at least the core idea of it. So let's get to work, starting to recreate. So what I want to just do first is create a viewport. So viewport is the visible is your defined screen size. Like let's just say the viewport is the screen size of your monitor. Let me say monitor. I use monitor or your screen rather. So a viewport is not meant to change. A viewport, I mean, if your website is really long, if your website is like really long, your screen size, your PC screen size does not like physically change. So that's really the idea of viewport. So we're going to call this one viewport. It doesn't change. So I'm going to define kind of viewport, the size of the viewport I want. So I want 1440, as I always do, 1440 by 810. So this is the viewport I personally prefer. The actual website can actually be long. The actual website content sections can be like really long and get to the bottom, but then the viewport itself should not like be altered. So that's the first thing I want to do. Then the next thing I want to do is to create our hero section. So our sections, like I said, they are verticals. They are stacked vertically on top of each, like stacked vertically on top of each other. So I don't think I have an example here. I would have shown one. So, but then let's just get to work. So what I want to do is to first of all create like the background for my hero section by drawing a rectangle that's also the size of, is it supposed to be the size? Let's not draw a rectangle. Let's go and look for an image actually. So I want to go and look for an image first. That's actually like, that's similar to this. You can use any image for yours. You can use any image. But then I like actually using image that communicates the original, the core idea that was being communicated in the original design. So what I want to just do is go to freepik.com, and then I'm going to search for woman. I think the one I searched for, woman with cloudy blue sky background. Blue sky. In case I don't find that be any good image on time, I'm just going to use the one that I have in my design already. So let me see if I can find one. And then I'm going to filter by free, obviously. Filter by free, exclude AI generated, because their results look wonky. So they look wonky certain times. So I'm going to then select horizontal. Okay. So one thing you also want to keep in mind is that to make sure the image you're picking has enough cloud room. So it has the subject itself, and then it has enough cloud. I think I like this one, but then the woman is not looking like she's not staring anywhere meaningful, really. She's not staring at me. She's not staring at what's it called. So this one, I think she's staring, at least her eyes are pointing towards the content. So these are not things anyone teaching design. It's just something like, it's just a feeling. I think it's, let me call it that. It's just a feeling that you get to just understand, I guess, as time goes on. Or you decide on. I don't really know how best it is. But yeah, so this one, she's just like looking away. She doesn't look interesting to me. So I'm not going to pick that one. So I think this one looks nice, but then I don't want any of this content. Do I want this content? Nah. I still want enough room, like enough cloud room around her. So you can go for any image, but these are just the choices. These are just the things that come to mind when I'm trying to like pick images for my design. So I think I like this one. Do I like this one? I like this one. It's just that I feel like there's also not enough cloud room for her. However, we're going to use it and see how it goes. Oh boy. Sorry, but I'm just trying to like pick a good looking one. I think this was this particular lady was the one I picked, and then I saw like a collection of others. So yeah, you can see the collection that beneath this original image. I think I would have liked to use one, but then if her eyes were looking at were more open than this, so I'm just going to go for this original one. So let's just go for this one instead, because I don't want to have to run into issues of not liking the results later on. So let me just use one and then download the original size, which is the largest size. So yeah, I have my image and I can carry on with work. So yeah, that's that. So once I've picked a suitable image, I just want to just place it. Control Shift K. Control or Command Shift K, and then pick your image and just drop it on your desktop. So it's really large, so I'm just going to scale it down. Hold K and hold Shift and then scale from the edges. Scale from the edges. I'm just going to scale down like this and make it the same size, the same width rather, as I'm going to lock the proportions, constrain the properties here, and then change the width to 1440. the height doesn't matter, so I'm just going to send align properly myself. So yeah, like this, I think I'm actually okay with it. However, another thing I also did, this is not part of design, it's not part of this tutorial at all, but then I also want my image to have a certain look. I want it to have like this really um this really, I don't really know what to call it, but there's just this really nice look. So this image is like looking a bit plain. I want to like I don't know if it's called color grading, but then I'm not really the best photo editor, but then I'm just going to do like a bit of editing myself inside of Figma. So I'm just going to, I think, let me see what I did here. I think I turned down this, no, turned down the temperature to make it like bluer a bit. So you can see the skies are a bit bluer here. So this is just like a photo retouching I'm doing. So the skies are a bit bluer, and also I'm going to turn up the saturation, just drop it. I think I'm going to leave it there. Highlights. Okay, let's leave it like this, and then I think I took contrast all the way down a bit, and exposure. Let's see if we add no exposure. It's going to mess it up a bit. So let's just leave it like this. Let's leave it like this. I think this is fine, and it looks a bit sunny. It looks really sunny. I think I'm going to bring the exposure back to normal. So it's a bit dark. And let's leave it like this. Let's not go into photo editing too much. So this image is okay with me. I like the look of it, and I think it's what I'm looking for. So the next thing I want to do is to actually create the content. So the content, I'm just going to use press T and then type. I'm not going to type. I'm just going to copy this content. Really copy, change the way you money, and then paste it to my design. Change the way you money, and then I'm going to use enter. I think enter is the one I'm looking for. Enter is enter. Yeah, enter is going to work for this one. Let's use Helvetica. I really like the look of Helvetica anyway. So, let's use enter. Let's use enter since everyone has enter installed on their computer. You may not have Helvetica anyway, so let's use enter. And I'm going to use, let's say, 120 for the size, and then I'm going to make it bold or heavy, even black, even tough. So black is the chunkiest you can get. So change the way you money. However, I want it to change the way, like this. I think I'm going to break it here as well. So I think I like the result of this, although the size is just too chunky. And I'm going to scale the size down a bit to 80. 80 looks too small. Let's do 90. I think 90 works. And then another thing I want to do is to reduce the data spacing. So I'm just going to do -4% for this one. -4, does it look too tight? I think it works. I think it's not too tight. It's just the right amount of spacing. So this works for me, and I'm going to tame the text. I'm going to tame the text. Let's do it like this. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to have like body content, obviously. So body content here. I'm just going to grab some text from mine. Okay, I'm going to grab this text here actually. Yeah, grab the text here. You may use your text if you want. The text doesn't really matter in this situation. So I'm just going to paste it here as well, and reduce the size to, let's say, 16, and then the weight to regular, and this here now I'm going to reduce the data spacing to minus 0. Let's do -2. -2%. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to for the line I'm going to give it 140%. So these are things like 150% for 16 pixel text. Typically for 16 pixel text, I normally give them a line height of 150%. But then for a 14 pixel text, I give them 140%. So these are just small things I do to handle my text and make it look even, maybe not perfect, but then better than the default setting. So I'm going to always play a prototype so you can see how it looks. So I'm going to play now, and then I think I'm going to increase the size of the text 20% instead of this one. Okay, and then I'm going to break it just so it's 3 lines. And like this, I still want to have money on this line. Okay, I think it's good like this. I think I'm okay with this result. Am I? Yeah, I'm okay with this result. I'm okay with this result now. So I'm just going to add a button here that says get the app. Okay, so yeah, that's get the app. I'm going to reduce the size to 16 and line height. Okay, I think it's all good. I'm just going to make a button by adding auto layout, and then for the internal horizontal padding, I'm going to make it 16, and then for the height, I'm just going to set to fixed. I prefer using fixed for my buttons, for my button height, not messing around with the vertical padding. So that's 40 for the height, and then for the corner radius, I'm going to make it fully rounded, and in just one ridiculous number, it's going to make it fully rounded, and then add a fill of make it black, somewhat like this, black somewhat, not totally black, but maybe sort of black. So yeah, so I think I'm going to preview as well and see how it looks. I think one thing I want to do for this result here is to make the text 14 instead. I like the look of this small text. I just like the look. I don't really know. It's just personal preference. And I'm also going to increase the size of the button to, let's say, 48. I'll make the internal horizontal padding. Yeah, horizontal padding. I'm going to make it like 24. Yeah, I think I'm good with this result now. The next thing I want to do is to take this text down to 18. So you can see as I'm previewing, don't just look at your designs here. You may actually get the wrong perception of how it will look on the actual website. So always preview, always play it to preview and see how it looks. If you're designing on mobile, preview on your mobile phone using Figma Mirror, so you can actually see how what your design looks on the actual screen it's meant for. So yeah, that's just that. So I'm just going to nest these ones together. I'm going to make the spacing 0. For this one, I think I want to reduce the line height as well from auto to, let's do 120%. 120% is too small. The spacing is still too much in my own eyes. So I'm going to make it 96%. 96 is too small. I'm going to make it. So all this size I'm actually doing, it's actually still sitting on the multiples of sitting on the multiple of 4 thing. I always mention if you're sizing things, always size in multiples of 4. If you're if you're spacing things, space in multiples of 4 as well. So size and space things in multiples of 4. The only thing I don't size in multiples of 4, but in multiples of 2 is text. For text size, if I see like a text or a text font size of a 2 pixel is too much, I'll add 2 to it to make it 4. Then 4, 6, like that, 8, 10, like that upwards. So that's only for text. But then for any other thing in your design, always size them and space them in multiples of multiples of 4. So I'm just going to add plus 16 here. So 112%. I think this works. I like the spacing better. And also for the data spacing, I'm going to make it -2 instead. -4 feels a bit too tight. Very nice. And I think like this, I am okay with the result. I'm sort of okay with the results. We can go ahead. The text is actually not the focus of today. So I'm just going to nest this content here with the button. I'm going to make the spacing between them 16. So again, multiples of 4 thing I mentioned before. So you can see I have something that looks a little bit like Revolut design. So with this, I am okay with what I have for the content and the copy. For the content and the button. So the next thing I want to do is just copy a navbar. A navbar is like an irrelevant element of design here. So I'm just going to copy that navbar, paste it here, and use it like that. So I think I'm good. The next thing I want to do is to space it from the side 120 by 120%, 120. So I'm going to give that internal padding, spacing away from the edge 120, because that's the same thing I'm using for my navbar as well. So you can see navbar, the internal horizontal padding is 120%. So this one is just going to be the same thing. I would have used it earlier, but then I don't really think it's not really important because we're not handling a lot of content. It's just one body of content, and I think it's okay like this. So with this, I am okay with this result, and I can proceed to the next phase. Okay, before I do that, even I want to space it away from the navbar, from the top of the design. Let's say 120 as well. Let's do 120 as well. Okay, I think it looks good. So I think with this, I am okay with this result. And the next thing I want to go ahead to do now is start creating the card. So we have the hero section done, and the next thing what I want to do is to select the contents. Let's call this group content. Let's call this one image. Let's call it image. Image. Okay, so I'm going to select the image and select the content, and I'm going to should I group them first? I don't want to group them. I actually want to. What I want to do now is I want to duplicate this viewport. So I'm going to duplicate viewports. Control D, and I'm going to call this one hero section. So I don't want to have to frame them and then have to start handling the frame again when I already have them set up a frame. So hero section. So this hero section contains the hero content. It contains the navbar. Navbar should not be inside of the hero section. It should actually be outside. It should be outside. Okay, yeah, it's outside already. So I'm going to delete it from here. So the hero section contains the hero content, contains this text here, and then contains the BG, the background image. So we're good like this for this hero section. And then I want to just control exit, that's cut it, and then I want to delete all the content inside of this once. I want to revert the viewport to empty. Delete this one, delete everything, leaving only the navbar. So the navbar has been set to fixed already. It has been set to fixed. If you're not set to fixed, just put your navbar and then go to prototype and then set position to fix. So I deleted everything from the viewport, leaving only the navbar. And I want to paste if I paste it, it's going to paste outside. So I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to align the rectangle to the top, to the left, and to the top, to the left, and to the top. And then I'm going to paste to replace. That thing I copied, the hero section I copied earlier, I'm going to just paste to replace it here. So you can see, that way I have my hero section inside of the viewports. So the viewport contains the navbar, the hero section, and every other thing we're going to create. So with that done, that's the first thing. That's the first phase of work already done. So make sure your clip content is turned on so that anything that's going outside of the view of the hero section is clipped or is cut off. If it's not turned on, let's see. If it's not turned on, you can see the outside. You can see the other the other parts of the image that are going outside of the frame. So we don't want that. Just turn on your clip content for all your frames. Make sure it's turned on. Always check, because if it's not turned on, in prototyping stage you might start having like very wonky looking results. So with that done, we want to go back to our next section. So for the next section, it's actually going to be like this. Duplicate the hero section downwards and turn on clip content. Okay, turn on clip content here. Okay, I'm going to call this one section 2. So section 2, I'm going to have section 2 in this format. I'm going to have this content here. Make your spend well spent. So I'm just going to, instead of wasting time creating that content, I'm just going to copy this one here. I have here. So I will leave it as part of the I will share this design file. You're going to find it inside of my YouTube. Sorry, you're going to find it in the comments section, or in the comments of this particular video you're watching. So just check it out, and then you can see the parameters for this text, because I don't spend much time creating the text. So I'm going to just centralize it. Okay, centralize it, and then this image I'm going to remove it. So remove this one as well. So for the hero section, let's make sure I don't have it down there. Okay, so this is section 2. Section 2 here, you only have this content here. This make your spend well spent. Okay, so have your content there. I think I did mine. I also had a had a button there instead of what Revolut is currently doing with that. So I am good with this for the content. And for the next thing, I want to start creating the cards. So you can see in the second section, you have a couple of cards there that are just like scrolling around. So what I want to do is I should originally have left this image in the frame. So I want to just copy this image here, Control C, and then click on this section 2 and press Control V. So it pastes in exactly the same spot as it is in the viewport. So it's very important. This thing is very important because everything needs to be aligned so that you can actually have that seamless alignment that Revolut has going on in this hero section. They have the second section here, but then it's properly aligned so that the image is seamlessly matching with the one that's in the background. So that's what's going on. So I'm going to select the image, and then I'm going to frame it. I'm going to call this frame card. So I'm going to call it card. I'm not going to bother myself with this content, all this content. You can add yours instead of the card, but let's just focus on the image itself. So once that is done, I want to just hold. What's the best way to do this? I want to what do you call it? Let me see if it's going to work. So I don't want the image to. I don't want the image position to be tampered with at all. I could actually make a reference frame, but I don't want to do that. I want to shrink the height to, let's see, 800. It's going to mess it up. So I actually don't want that. So I'm going to copy this section 2, and no, I'm not going to copy it just yet. I'm going to create a card, a reference. I'm using this card as reference, this rectangle as reference. So I want my card to, let's say, be 4 480 by 580. Okay, let's do card like this. Or no, let's go for 480 for the height, and then for no, the height seems too small. Let's go for 500 for the height, and then for the width, let's go for 400. Yeah, I think I like the look of this. So 400, a card of 400 by 500. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put this rectangle outside of the card, and then this card, this group frame that I've called card, I'm just going to like hold command, just hold command, and then I'm going to, you can see that as I'm stretching this is actually the image, this card actually contains the image, this image you're seeing here. But then I want to like try to align the, what do you call it, align, what's the best way to do this? I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Okay, let's not do that just yet. Let's actually copy the section, Control C section, and then I'm going to go to the viewport again, click on the hero section, duplicate it, and then paste the, what's it called, paste to replace here. Sorry, I actually have like a small flu, so my voice may sound funny. I may sneeze every now and then, so apologies. Anyways, I'm going to paste to replace. So I have the section 2 over the hero section, so I'm going to just use the hero section as the background, and then use it to like use that to inform my decision of where to place the card. So the card, I want to first of all just turn off the fill, and then just turn off the fill. I actually want to add a fill, then I want to turn down the opacity to, let's say, 10, so I can still see it. So I want to now add a stroke. I'll make the stroke outside, set it to outside, and then make the make the color to be white. And then the next thing I want to do is to what do you call it? Is to make add the weights. Sorry, I make the weights for make the weight of the stroke 4. So with this, I just want to like, I'm using this particular rectangle here just to inform where I'm going to like place the what do you call it, card. So I think I want to take a look at, I want to turn off the section 2. I want to take this card out, then turn off the section 2 layer so I can see the original hero section. So like this, I just want to inform where I'm going to be placing the rectangle. So I think I want to place it here, sort of. Just place it in a way that looks good to you. But mine, I want it to intersect with the, just cut parts of the lady off. So I want to stretch it down a bit, and then I want to also have make it so it's 576 in height now, and then I want to make the width. I think it still works. Let's do 476 then. 476. Yep. So like this, I have this thing going on. I don't really know what's going on, but there I think I have this thing. So you can do yours like anyhow you want to do it. It's totally fine. Anything is totally fine. You just want to find a good position for where you're going to like place your this particular what do you call it, rectangle, so that it doesn't like bother the text. You can choose to bring yours closer to the text, but me, I'm trying to like make it cut off like some section of the subject here. So so I think I would want to move it a bit here like this. I think a bit here like this. I personally don't want it to interfere with the text, because I feel like it looks good like this. If it enters the text, it's going to just be too much content, too much things going on here. So I prefer to move it like that. And also I feel like it has like a bit of nice composition like this if it's replaced like this, because it's in line with this text here, and also some adequate spacing away from them. So I just feel like it's better the way it is currently, like this sort of. So there's really no right or wrong position. Place yours where it looks good. Then I'm going to make the width 450. There's really no right or wrong size again. Use any box of any size to just frame the image. So once this is done, I can turn on my section 2 now, and then you can see that section 2 has the what's it called, the what do you call that thing, has the background image in exactly the same spot as the hero section. So there's while I'm turning off and turning on section 2, you can see that it looks like nothing is happening to the image, because the image is actually exactly in the same spots in both sections, in both the hero section and section 2. So there's no wrong thing going on. So once that is done, the next thing I want to do is to click on this rectangle I've created, and then frame it. So I'm going to frame it. Where is it? Frame selection. Oh boy, frame selection. Yeah. So I'm going to frame selection. I'll call this one card instead. I'm going to call it card, And then I'm going to move the image from wherever it was before in the layer section, and then move it into this card. What's it called? Move it to this card group, card layer, or this card frame rather. So now the card frame, this card frame we created before, that has I have deleted the rectangle. So the rectangle has a stroke of 4 pixels. So I'm going to click on the card and then go to stroke and make it 4, and then set it to outside as well. So everything I did for that original rectangle, I'm going to do for this particular frame. I think originally I should have started with the frame even self, and I would have avoided having to do the rectangle business. But yeah, let's just do it on the frame instead. So make the frame, add a stroke, outside frame F. Okay, why is it not showing? Why isn't it showing? Okay, something is wrong. Something is grievously wrong. The stroke I added is not showing. Okay. I think it's because content is not clipped. Yeah, so you can see content is clipped now and it's showing as it should. So yeah, that's just that. If I were to put the stroke inside, it will be, you'll be able to see it. Ideally, you'll be able to see it, but it's saying we're showing it off. So regardless, just make sure the stroke is set up. The stroke is set up. So if I were to turn on clip content, you actually see a stroke or that's applied to the card frame. So this is what we want to have. So we have the card. We have the card now made. So this is the card you're seeing. This card, this layer I'm calling card, or this frame I'm calling card here, is what you're seeing here, like this on the Revolut site. So ideally, this card is meant to transition into the next section. So that's just that for that particular one. So then the next thing I want to do is to also bring the card into this section 2. So I'm going to bring the card into section 2 and then delete that old card I had there because it's at this point it's useless. So section 2 holds both this content and also this image as well. Let's call it content. Okay. So this is the hero section. Let's turn off section 2 and turn on section 1 as well. I think before I turn on section 1, let me even turn off the background so you can see what's going on. So this is section 2 without any background. So you can see that the image that's inside, the card image that's inside aligns perfectly with the one that's in the hero section. So it's all about aligning everything perfectly. If you do that, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know that anything funky is actually going on in the background. So I'm just going to click on section 2 now. So what I want to do with section 2 as well is to make section 2 the same. Ideally, I should make section 2 the same height and width as the card. So to do that, I could actually just, you know what, let's duplicate the card, and then let's take this card, this other duplicate, let's call this one section 2 instead. Let's even break this section apart totally. Section 2 here, let's ungroup it, and then I'm going to move this card, call this new card duplicate, call it section 2, since it already has the same size that I need it to be. So I'm going to go section 2, and then I'm going to move this other new card layer into, I'm going to delete the image inside the section 2. I'm going to move this card into the section 2, and then move the content as well into section 2. So like this, you can see how everything is just everything is inside of this section 2 that you're seeing here. However, you have the content in front of it, so ideally content should go underneath the card itself, so that the card is blocking the content you're seeing. So because I have clip content turned on, you can't see the content that make your make your spend well spent. You can't see it because I have clip content turned on the section 2 layer. So if I were to turn it off, you can see that it's currently showing. So if I were to turn it on now, you don't see it again. So with that, I have my section 2 sorted out properly. I know it was a lot of back and forth, but then just try to follow the creation of section 2 properly, and then I feel like you'll not get lost at any point in time. So with that done, the next thing I want to do is to round the corners. So I'm going to round the corners to just the top corners. Let's do 24 as well. So you don't have to do yours, you don't have to round your corners as well. It's just a personal preference because I want it to look like this. And then I don't want this bottom this bottom stroke, so I could either extend the extend the card section, or just here, go here, and then go to custom, and then just turn off the bottom one, 0. But does it look good? Ugh, it looks weird. So I'm just going to extend it a bit so it touches the bottom of the frame, bottom of the viewport. And also for the card, the same thing for the card as well. Extend it just by 1. Okay. So 580. So you like this, I have 580 for the height, 580 for the section height as well. So the section height, the section height and width is the same, as exactly the same as the card, which is why you're not seeing any funny effects going. It's just perfectly aligned. So it's just about alignment. If I were to move the section 2 to the side, you can see that the what's it called, the trick is starting to like reveal itself. It's just starting to reveal itself. So as long as you can have this section 2 properly aligned and structured and properly made to overlay over the other section, regardless of how you go about it, as long as you can achieve these results, you are on your way to achieving the final effect. So with that done, I want to just duplicate this entire thing. Before I do that, I want to also have these other images coming. Although we're not going to be able to create this scroll effect right now. We might not do it right now, but then let's focus on just doing the transition from both sections. So for me to make sure the other cards come into view, you know what? Let's even just preview it first. Let's duplicate and preview it first and see how it works before we go ahead to create the other card. So when I have this, after this is done, for this viewport 2, I want to just, first of all, I want to increase the spacing here to, let's say, one ridiculous amount, so let's say 48, and then here to let's say 24. Okay, so and then I want to now move the entire thing upwards to, let's say, just touch the top of the viewport, and then I want to turn the opacity down to 0. So I'm going to go to opacity. Where's opacity? Opacity. Oh boy. Yeah, layer. So I'm just going to turn it to 0. So like that's how it's supposed to. This is like the after state. So I'm trying to like create the second state. Now this state here now. So this is where the transition is going to happen. So for this one, for the image, I want to here, I think, for this original one, for this original one, ideally it should shrink, not expand. Once it should shrink, yeah. So ideally, one thing I could do is either expand this image here. Originally, I should have expanded it here. So I think I can actually do it now. For me to just click on the image that's in the hero section, increase it in size, so that it can shrink to some extent while we're doing the other view. So once I've done that, I want to Control C, and then I want to go into the one that's inside of my card and Control V. Although it's going to be aligned differently, but I think if I see, it's still going to be messy. Okay, so if I were to just paste inside of my inside of the card layer, so the card that's inside of the section, so I pasted the new image size there. If I had to do this from the beginning, I would not have had any issues. So I'm just going to select the image, this image here, and then select hold Control and Shift, and then select the other image as well. And then I'm going to use the other image that's in the background to align this one properly, the one that's inside of the card properly. So I'm just going to align left, align top. So you can see like this, I already have, or you can do everything from, if you get confused and the alignment no longer looks as good as it should, you can start from scratch again. I should have done this from the beginning. I should have increased the size like this from the beginning. I would not have had these issues. But since I didn't do that, I can easily fix it like this. So with this done, I want to do the entire thing all over again because I don't want to go and start making changes here and then. No, I don't think I need to do that. So it's fine here. It's totally fine here. So for the after state, what's going to happen is that here you can see the image is like it's really big. It's 1692 by 1128. But here it's shrunk into 140 by 960. 1440 rather by 960. So that's the idea. On this before state, the image is kind of big, and then on the after state, it's kind of shrunken. So that's just what we're trying to like go for here. So I can't shrink it anymore. I can't shrink the image in the background any more than this. Else you would start seeing the white space. So we don't want that. Just shrink it so when it touches the edges of the what do you call it, viewport itself. So with this done, the next thing I want to do now is I want to expand. I want to click on section 2 and then hold command, or you can hold command and option to expand for both sides. Hold command and option, and then just drag the edges. Command, I'm holding command or control because I want it to. I'm holding command because I don't want the content inside to be messed up. But I'm holding alternate so that alternate or option if you're using Mac, so that it can stretch from both sides. So however you do it, just make sure you are expanding the section without tampering with the content. So I'm just going to expand this section, and ideally I did not even give the section a fill. That's something I should have done. So I've expanded the section 2 to be something that's big as it is. I could actually bring the sides in. Bring sides in a bit. Yeah. So it's really up to you. You can expand it however you want. But I prefer to just tame mine a bit to make it still look uniform, sort of. So I'm holding command or control if you're using a Windows while I'm resizing so that the content are not tampered. If I had to leave command, I'm going to leave command now. So you can see that the content is being moved. You can see that make your well spend is being moved around a bit. So you don't want that, which is why I'm holding command. So holding command prevents internal content from being messed up while you are resizing a frame. So that's that. I've resized the frame to fill the entire screen, and then I'm going to give it a fill of white. So ideally I should have given it a fill here. So I'm going to come here again and click on section 2 and then give it a fill of white. You're not going to see it because obviously it's properly resized to fit around the image or fit around the image card. So you're not going to see anything happen there. But here, as I resize it, you're going to see. Let me click on section 2 again. Let me resize it. So you can see as I'm resizing, as I'm holding command and option and resizing, you can see what's going on. So it has its own fill, it has its own internal content as well. But then as I'm resizing, you get to see all the stuff that's hidden inside of the section 2 itself. So the next thing I want to do is in this frame, I want to also shrink down the card. So I'm going to shrink down the card. Press K. I'm going to press K on my keyboard. It's going to show me this, or press K on your keyboard, or if K is not pressed, go to this option here. You move to click on this arrow here, and then you see scale 2. So click on scale 2, and then scale this thing down to preferred size. It doesn't have to be a particular size, just scale it down to preferred size. So I think for mine, I will scale it down, I think just like this. So it's now 402 by 311, which is totally fine. So I'm going to go for this size, and I think I'm okay with it. So the next thing I want to do is here, I want to also centralize the card as well. So centralize the card in the middle of the frame. So it's in the middle of the frame. So centralized, it's not centralized. It is not centralized. So I need it to be centralized. So I'm just going to move it around a bit to make sure it's centralized. It doesn't have to be perfect, but then I personally like it. I would prefer it to be perfect. So I just want to just move it around a bit. So 564 by 564. So I think I'm okay with this result. So the next thing I want to do is here, I want to make your well spent. I want to move it up a bit. I think 120 away from the top will be fine. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 120 away from the top. So all these movements is not compulsory for yours to be exactly the same. But then it's just my own preferred way of doing things. So I'm going to make it away from I'm going to make it, let's say 32. Then from the bottom, it's totally fine. Any amount is totally fine. So you can see again the spacing from this thing is 32, because 32 is also on the 4 pixel grid as well. So which is why I'm going for it. So I'm also here. I'm going to in this what do you call it? In this after state, I'm going to also shrink the text. Sorry, not the text. I'm going to shrink the image down a bit. So while shrinking the image down, I will make sure to not shrink the bottom so that it enters, like not shrink the bottom so that it starts cropping inside of the card. I just want to just shrink it to just have a good piece of inside of the frame, inside of the card section. So I think I'm okay with this. I'm kind of okay with this result. Yeah, so I'm okay with this result. So with this now, ideally everything should work fine. The last thing that's remaining is just for us to like wire the prototype. So I'm just going to go prototype mode and then link this one to this one, and then set the trigger. Let's use on click. Like I said, trigger does not matter because on scroll does not work either way. So we can have on click, or let's do keyboard press. Like I said, I prefer keyboard press. I don't want you to see my mouse while I'm recording my screen. So I'm going to go for keyboard press and then select any key. So I prefer to use enter. So I'm going to set the motion type to smart animate, and then set the ease in to ease out, and then decide the speed to, let's do 800. Yeah, 800 works fine for me. So I'm going to just link this one back to this one in the same way. So I'm back to this one. But yeah, I prefer to use easing for the going back motion. And then I want to set the trigger to key and gamepad. So enter. So let's see how it works. Ideally, it should work fine. So you can see that it works. The transition thing works. Fair enough. Fair enough. Although I feel like it's too slow. So I want to increase the speed. Or reduce the speed rather. So 600. So it's faster. Transition time is faster. 600 for this one as well. I think I also want to. Do I want to use easing for the first one? So I want to use easing and out. So let's see how it works. Yeah, so I think I prefer the easing and out. So you can see everything works fine. The last thing or the small things I still want to do, although currently we only have one card that's transitioning. So I want to do the other cards as well. So to do the other cards, it's very easy. It's very, very easy. But before we do the other cards, we want to first of all handle a couple of things. So this card here, you can see that it's not rounded. So I'm going to round the card here to, let's say, 24. Okay. It has a stroke already. Stroke of 4. Okay. And here, I'm going to come here as well and then click on the card layer, or the card frame rather, and then give it a stroke of 4 as well. And then I'm going to give it a rounding of 24. Corner radius of 24. So that there's corner radius added. So you can see that it has corner radius applied to it now. So that's just something I wanted to do as well. So I'm good with this result. And the next thing I want to proceed to addressing would be trying to see if there's anything I'm missing out. Okay, there's nothing I'm missing out on. So there's nothing I'm missing out on. Okay, so I want to proceed to make a couple of small changes. For example, this text, I feel like the text, the way it's transitioning is just too static. So I want to add a bit of extra. These are just like small motion techniques I personally use for my work. So I'm going to go to navigate down to the section 2 in this first frame, and I'm going to turn off clip content so I can actually see the content that's inside of it. So here I want to also turn off hero section as well, so I can actually see what I'm doing, and turn off the card layer as well. I'm going to bring them back, but then I just need to turn them off so I can focus on what I'm doing. So here I'm going to increase the spacing from this between them to, let's say, 24, and then spacing here to like let's add 40 plus 40. Okay, and then move them down just a bit more. So I think I'm okay with this movement. And then I want to turn on all the things I turned off back. So I'm going to turn on the card, then turn on hero content as well, and then turn on clip content here so that the content can disappear. So like this, you can see I have a more dynamic looking motion. Personally, I think if I want to do this thing with all the time I had, I'll probably space this line of text from this line of text from this line of text, so that the spacing, so that the motion will be even more, should I say, rubber bandy in nature. I think that's really the word I can best use to express what I'm trying to go for. So I think with that, I'm okay with what has happened so far. So good. And the next thing I want to proceed to making now is the other images that come by the side. So to do that, I just want to duplicate this card 1, 2. So I'm going to call this one, I'm going to duplicate it twice, and then I'm going to just move it to the side, spaces. How many spaces? I want to give it like 20 spacing of 24. Again, 4 pixel grid spacing is what I'm using to space things here. So I have this. Let's space them 24. 24.1 is totally fine. I don't want to have to stress and start adjusting the removing the points, but typically I'll remove the points and round it off to the nearest whole number. So for this one, let's leave the decimal place. So I am okay. So I'm going to space them 24 from each other. And the next thing I want to do now is to name them left card. Okay, left card, right card. Okay, so ideally they should be rotated sort of, but then if they're rotated like this, you can see that they are above on in my design. It's my own personal design. They are behind, so there's this like gallery image story. So ideally they should go behind. So in the layer section, what you can do to do that, in the layer section, just move these cards to behind the behind the other card. So ideally I should even call it a card group. I should nest all of them and call it a card group, but then not just yet. So I'm just going to come here back and then change the rotation back to 0. Rotation back to 0. Okay. So spacing is 24, and then I think I'm okay with this as well. So the next thing I want to do is to duplicate these cards. Come to the section here and duplicate the card and do the same thing as well. So here, duplicate the card, duplicate it. So I'm going to call one left card. If I had done this from the beginning, I would not have had this trouble. I would not have had to go back like, but because I didn't do it from the beginning, which is I'm actually going back to do all this changes again. So I'm going to call this one right card. Okay, right card. Okay. So I'm going to move the right cards, obviously, to the right. And I'm also going to turn off clip content as well, so I can see what I'm doing. And then turn off what do you call it? Hero section rather, so I can see what I'm actually doing with the other content. So I'm going to move this one. Space this one 24. Not 24. I think I want to do a larger number so the emotion can actually be more, again, rubber bandy in nature. So let's go for 80. Okay, let's go for 80. And then for the left card as well, the same thing, 80 as well. So if I had done this thing from the beginning, all these movements, all these multiple cards from the beginning, I would not have had to like be doing all this stressful work again. But then it is what it is. So I'm just going to select both cards and then move them under the, what do you call it, under the main card, under the card that's in the middle. So what I'm going to do for these other ones is to start adding images now. So I personally, for these ones, I don't want to have an image that's this big. I just want to have an image that's exactly the size of the frame. I want to just shrink the image size down, the rectangle size down to this frame, and then I want to open Unsplash and just run Unsplash. I want to run Unsplash, and then Unsplash, please run, please. If it doesn't run, I'm just going to pick any image from my other. So I want to go for, search for smiling lady. Personally, I like using images that actually relate with the context of my design. So smiling lady. I'm not going to use lady because everyone has used that a lot. So I want to use, let's say this one. I think let's use smiling family. Let's use family. Smiling. So just so there's some sort of representation, I'm going to use like black family as well. Okay, I'm going to look for images that are in portrait mode. Okay, and obviously free. Then I think I am going to go for this one. Yeah, this one here. So I'm going to select it, add it to my image. Yeah, so I have this image done. And and another thing I want to do is I want to copy the image, Ctrl C, and then paste it here as well. Pasting this the right card. Yeah, I'm going to paste the right card, and then delete the other image that was there. So with that done, the next thing I want to do is to expand the image a bit. I just want to scale it up. So I'm going to press K on my keyboard. Forgive the background sound. I think there's an ambulance close by. So I am going to scale it up, let's say by 2 times. Just press K and then press 2 here. It's going to scale it up by twice, but then I think 2 is just too big. So I'm going to press K again. Scale it up by 1.5. Nope, not the card itself, just the image inside of the card. Just the image inside of the card. So keep in mind, not the card itself, just the image inside of the card. So I'm going to press K and then scale the image by 1.5. So the image inside of the card has been scaled up so that there's a more dynamic motion to the way it moves into frame. So this other image as well is going to also be scaled up by 1.5 as well. Oh boy. Scaled up by 1.5K. 1.5. Okay, so with that done, the next thing I want to do is change this image. Obviously, I don't know why I didn't change it to begin with. But yeah, regardless, let's just get smiling graduates. Smiling Latin graduates. I'm trying to like be as what do you call it? Be as inclusive as I can. I may not be able to do that, but let's go with there's no image of a graduate. See, there's no image of a graduate. There's no image of a graduate here. So let's just go with this lady here. I think I like that covers for people that work in tech or that people, business people or something like that. So yeah, that's just that. The next thing I'm going to do now is to, okay, this is left card, this is right card. Okay, so please take note that it's important for you to actually like take note of the layer organization. I'm going to do that in a moment, so don't worry about that. So let's first of all, on this image, I want to copy this image and paste it inside of this box here. But if I were to just copy and paste it, it's going to still take me time to start resizing and what I think I can actually do that. I can actually resize it. Would that save me more time? Let's just resize this original image here, resize it here to fit the rectangle, to fit the box it's inside of, or its frame. And then I'm going to just click on this image and then press Command Option C, and then come here and click Command Option V, or Control Alternate V. So it's just going to copy the image property and paste the image property here for you. So that's just what I'm trying to do. So Control C. I'm going to do the same thing for this image as well. So I'm going to paste to replace. Okay, and then I'm going to Command Option C or Control Alternate C, and then Control Alternate V for this particular image. So like this, I've been able to replace all images properly. So next I want to do is to select all the cards, and then I want to should I auto layout them? Let me just frame them. Frame is better because I don't want to have wonky looking results. So I'm going to frame selection. Okay, and then I'm going to call this selection cards. Okay, I'm going to call it cards. So I think that's cool. So cards, I'm going to frame these ones as well. I'm going to frame 3 of them. Left cards, right card, and all the 3 cards. I'm going to select them. And then frame selection, and then call this frame selection cards. Again, keep in mind they must be the same name. The frames must be the same name in both. If not, you're going to have messy results. So cards, small letter cards, or you can just, to be more simplistic, and actually just call it C. So just call it C instead of small letter C. So make sure it's exactly the same name. The frames have the same name. If not, it's going to have some weird looking results. So with that done, I think groups will actually be better, not frames. Frames should be better. So to change this frame into a group, just come here, this option here, click on it, change from frames to groups, because I actually want it to be dynamic, the resizing to be dynamic. So I'm going to change to group. So with this done, the next thing I want to do is to make sure that in the layers, in the layer organization, all the layers are properly, they are the same, they are in the same order. So you have card here, left card, right card. So here, this before state, after state rather, you have card, left state. I think it's messed up. So I think let's make left card come first, and make middle card come next, and then right card, since it's left to right. So the same thing here as well. Left card should come first in the layers panel, middle card, and then you have right card. So left card in the layers panel, middle card, right card. So the same thing for here as well. Left card, middle card, right card. So you can see how it's organized. If the organization is off in the layers panel, it's not going to work as you intend. So the last thing to do is not the last thing really, but then what we can do now is just to go to our section now, section 2 here, and then just clip content. So all those content will be hidden, and then we can turn on our hero section again, so we can have the original first state looking at as it should look. And then next thing I want to do, I think it should work now. Actually. So let's see how it plays out. So you can see how the whole image thing comes into view. However, I still want to have some dynamism, because this second layout looks good. I want to have some dynamism, so the way the cards are stacking, it's not just okay to, you might want to do this might actually work for you, but then I want mine to actually be, they should how should I put it off? They should intersect with each other, and also differ in size. So these ones are going to be a bit smaller than the main card, so the main card has more focus. So what I want to do is just to press K here, and then scale them down by let's scale them down by 0.75. It's too small. It goes too small. So let's press K again and scale it down by type 0.5. Nope. So K again, and then 0.8 instead. I think this should work. Oh no, it doesn't work. 0.9 instead. 0.9. Yeah. So the difference is not much. This is 0.8 K. Again, 0.85. Yeah, I think this is okay. So scale this one down again by a factor of 0.85. 0.85. Okay. So with that done, the next thing I want to do is just to bring them closer into the original, or just select everything, select three of them, and then make spacing between them negative. Okay, it's going to mess up. I don't want to mess that. So I want to just shift the frame here, shift the left card into the view, shift it like this, like this. So you can decide by how many pixels you want to shift it. So I think minus 43 is what I'm seeing here for mine. So you can use yours differently. So like I said, I want this middle card to be above every other thing. So I want to actually, the last one I want to move left, the middle card to be above left card, so that everything is behind. So you can see. So I want to also do the same thing here as well. Move middle card to be above everything, the layers organization. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. And this is going to have a more dynamic effect. So you can see how it works. So to have an even more dynamic effect, I want to like rotate, angle this other. I want to angle these other cards a bit. So you just want me to just rotate them. Let's say 15%. I think 10% is fine. 10 degrees rather. Sorry, 10 degrees rather. So 10 degrees. Then minus 10 degrees. What's that? Minus 10 degrees. Minus 10. Yeah. So it's just a bit angled, and I think this has some sort of gallery looking effect. So I think I want to also centralize, move them down a bit, select them, and then align center. It's already aligned, but visually it's not aligned, so I'm going to move them down just a bit. So I think like this, I have something that's looking like what I want to achieve. So I think with this we've been able to achieve like the Revolut effect, although you might want to go in again and mess around with the mess around with a couple of parameters, maybe like the timing for the prototype, or changing from ease in and out to ease out. I think I like the ease out even better. So yeah, I like the ease out even better. Or you can do custom. So custom can actually, I think custom will actually allow you more room to like mess around with stuff and everything. But that's going to be time consuming, so we don't have that time to start doing that. So I think I like this custom a bit. It's a default custom effect. So you might want to mess around with yours, just make a couple of changes and all of that. So I'm using enter to switch between both screens, but you can make yours to be what do you call it, to be on click, to happen on click. But then like I said, the on scroll kind of trigger is not something that's feasible currently. It's not something that's feasible currently, so I don't want to spend too much time trying to replicate it. But with that, I think we've come to the end of this particular design session. So try to have fun while doing yours. Try to like come up with maybe unique layouts, or just mess around with different things. I would have been able to do that a carousel thing, but then it's going to take too much time, because I would have made this thing a component on its own, which is going to be another stressful and long experience. So we don't have that time to start doing all of that. So with that, we've been able to come to the end of the design session and achieve this particular effect. So while you're trying to make yours, if you run into any challenges, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn or anywhere really, and I'm going to help out as best as I can to be able for you to be able to achieve this particular effect as well. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next design session. Bye.